Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have for you my initial impressions of the brand new, just announced Honor 20 Pro. By the time you guys watch this video, I'll probably already provide you guys coverage from the launch event. We are expecting to see basically the Honor 20, the Honor 20 Lite, and then of course the Honor 20 Pro, which we have here in the office. This is TK and this is XDA TV. So what we have in the box essentially is the phone, the charger, and this is not representative of the actual retail box. This was just the box they sent us for the review. We have a European style supercharged power brick here that's capable of charging at 22.5 watts, so we don't have the 40-watt charger. Still pretty fast to be able to charge up our device. Of course, we have a USB Type-C to USB Type-A, data and charge. Last but not least, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack to USB Type-C converter, as this is actually needed since we don't have a 3.5mm headphone jack on this device. Overall, pretty much standard. We have the SIM tray on the left side, volume rocker, power button, and the fingerprint sensor are on the right. On the top, we have an IR blaster, one of the microphones, the top mounted speaker. On the bottom, USB-C, bottom firing speaker. We have a mono speaker here and one of the microphones as well. The display is a 6.26 IPS 1080p panel. Of course, a full view display with the top mounted 32 megapixel sensor here on the top left. That obviously it's a punch hole camera style. On the back, we have triple camera. Actually, take that back. 4 cameras. We have a 48 megapixel at f1.4. We have a 16 megapixel wide ultra wide lens, an 8 megapixel telephoto lens up to capable of going all the way to 3 times optical zoom. Last but not least is a 2 megapixel macro lens that gives us the ability of getting really close to our subject and getting the really close detailed shots. Last but not least, a dual tone LED flash, and you can definitely see the new material that we have here with the new reflective matte. It's definitely very reflective, a little bit different than what we had last year with the Honor 10, as they kind of went with the multi-shifting color here. And this is, I think this one's the Aurora Green, and it just literally had almost like 4 different colors. And you can actually get like a little bit of purplish, bluish, depending on how it reflects the light, and it just looks amazing. So the Honor 20 Pro is building on what we had last year with the Honor 10. The Honor 10 essentially is a very stylish device that is generally form factor limited. What I mean by that essentially is that it doesn't generally go too big. Now this last year was a 5.84 inch display, and this year we have a 6.26 inch display, and you can probably see they're not that much different as far as size, ever so slightly bigger, but that's mostly because of the way the bezels were done here. We have a full view display here that uses the punch hole camera on the top left, which enables us to have basically a much bigger display, and it still is at a 1080p panel. Now the other thing we also gained is more battery. The 3400 milliamp battery that we had last year with the Honor 10 is now a 4000 milliamp battery that's built in here, supported with the Huawei Supercharge that's capable of charging this device very rapidly. I wish we had the 40-watt charger, but again, still very nice. Now the fingerprint sensor placement on this device is definitely something that is unique, as last year the fingerprint sensor was based at the base of the device. So basically it was right here. There was some concerns initially when it was first launched that it wasn't running that well, but overall with some software updates they were able to fix a lot of this. But the display here, I mean, I barely put my finger on it. I'm not even pushing the button. I have it and it unlocks. We have the ability of using face unlock. Let's go ahead and just do this here, and it unlocks it super fast as long as it sees the face. We don't have gestures in here, and I hope that they have the ability of pushing this as far as the gesture capabilities in the near future to be able to open up the notification shade. As right now, the only way to do that is to be able to enable the normal navigation dock and add this little toggle to be able to open it up and close it. Speaking of navigation, what we have on this device, the Honor 20 Pro is model number YAL-L41. It is running Magic UI 2.1 on top of Android 9.0. Powering our device is the Kirin 980. We have 8 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigs of internal storage. We have a 6.26 inch IPS LCD panel that basically is just massive and beautiful with the full view display, as well as the fact that we have the punch hole camera, and of course the May 5th security patch update, so running the latest version of the software on this device. As far as navigation gestures or navigation options, we have gestures, 3-key navigation, as well as navigation dock. By default it does come with a navigation key, and you can customize it to show this little button that I showed you here. Or if you are like me, you're probably going to want to just jump straight in there. I don't need the tutorial, and then just use the gestures, as I feel like these are just definitely much easier to use and much faster. And we can always go back here, and of course we can launch the assistant by just swiping from the sides, either from the right or the left side. And if you swipe from the center, you're definitely just go into the recent tab, and of course go home. The launcher is very nice. We still have the ability of launching the search option here. We can go ahead and close it. We do have the Amazon assistant that's built in here. I'm not going to say her name. And of course on the left side we have the Google Feed built in. And of course the ability of just basically installing any application directly from the Google Play Store. Now I'm pretty sure we're all wondering about the camera setup that we have on this device. And again, we have a triple camera setup, or a quad camera setup on the back, as we actually have a force sensor, and I'll share with you guys why that's so good. Now as far as the main sensor is, this is basically what you can expect from a normal view, and I'll share with you guys some images in a second. This is when we go into 3 times optical zoom using the 8 megapixel sensor. And of course we can go to 5 times, and this is more of a hybrid zoom where it starts using the 3 times optical and tries to basically digital zoom to give us as sharp of an image as we can. And it's actually not bad. We can go all the way up to 30 zoom, and that's going to be very much of a zoom image here. Unfortunately non-usable in the office. Last but not least, we have the wide angle lens. And that gives us the ability of fitting in so much more information in the image. Keep in mind though that when you're in the video option and you go into the wide angle lens, wide angle is not as wide, but it definitely is bigger than your standard focal length on the sensor. It seems like it's cropped because it does provide us some type of OIS or EIS in here to be able to give us much better stabilization. And that's the other thing. We can actually use the wide angle lens in video mode and jump between standard, telephoto, or wide angle lens and still record up to 4K at 30 frames per second. Now, one of the really cool things about the back-facing sensor is the ability of using any one of the 3 sensors that you have on the back. Now, the maximum we can go is 4K at 30 frames per second, which is what I'm recording this video on. And the reason I wanted to show that for you guys is that we actually have OIS on here that gives us the ability of stabilizing the footage that we get in the back. But let's say you want to be able to switch over to that wide angle lens. Even in mid-video, you can actually click the wide angle lens, and of course you can fit so much more in your picture. And of course you can do telephoto, but I'm not gonna do a telephoto again. I did that one time before. I'm not gonna do that again where I just telephoto straight into my face. This is just too close of an image. But you can imagine that, you know, using telephoto on video will also be very helpful. We have portrait mode, we have night mode, of course, the updated night mode, and I'll share with you guys again some pictures there. And of course, AR lenses that are still present here. Video mode, and I'll share with you guys a quick sample of that. And of course, more, we have the ability to go into Pro, HDR, macro lens. And this is where the macro becomes very functional. And that uses that last sensor that's sitting right next to the dual tone ND flash. And you can pretty much see right there, I'm right on top of my hand. The phone is right on top of my hand, and I'm able to zoom in and I can take a really clear image of my ring, and it just looks ever so clear. And you can just imagine the images that you can use, that you can create using a really good macro lens. Last but not least, of course, we have slow-mo, panorama, aperture, moving pictures, time-lapse, filters, stickers, documents, and so on. All of these things are nice and they're very good. The front-facing camera does provide us the ability of using AI as well as the back sensor. And of course, you can select it on or off depending on what you want. And of course, when you turn it on, those are the best images that you're able to get out of it. Since I've been using the device for the last few days, I can definitely appreciate the quality of the images. So here's a picture from a local event here in Santa Clarita. And you can definitely see here the subject isolation, the separation. Unfortunately, he was in the shade, so it didn't look as good. But we can definitely appreciate the quality of the images and the quality of the sound that comes out of here. So let's go ahead and open it up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that clip was shot at 4K at 30 frames per second, handheld, no gimbal. Definitely appreciate the colors and what we can get directly out of the sensors in the back. But of course, what we want to be able to see is some of the images that basically push the color, vibrancy. You can see right there with this nice white rose that we have here. Of course, color subject isolation with the aperture mode. And what I really wanted to show you guys is right here. This is a shot taken with the macro lens that we have. And you can see the dew that's sitting right there on the flower early in the morning. It just looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, you can take really good front-facing images, as this actually has pretty good processing now. And you can definitely see my son is enjoying his chocolate crepe right there, and we were having that yesterday. We're definitely going to spend more time with this device. I'm actually going to be going to the launch event in London on Tuesday. So a lot of the images that you're going to see from now on, that little reel that I'm going to show you guys, are from my trip to London. Let me know what you guys think of the Honor 20 Pro. By the time you guys see this video, I probably am already at the launch event in London, and I'm probably also going to be doing a live stream on the XDA channel. So if you have any questions, make sure to check in the description my Twitter and Instagram accounts to be able to see all of the images and stuff that I'm posting straight out of the event, as I'm pretty sure there's going to be some, oh, by the way kind of thing, and a lot more announcements. As this is the Honor 20 Pro, I really don't have that much information as far as what the Honor 20 is, I do know about the Honor 20 Lite, and that one's announced before, but I'm hoping to learn more about the standard Honor 20, as that's more of a comparable to what we had last year with the Honor 10. Like and subscribe as usual. Make sure you check out my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.